What's going on, my credit fiends? Hey, today, guys, do not buy that car. I know you guys really want it, or you want to get that dream car, or you want to just get that car that you really want, but you know you're gonna be paying $400 $600 a month or more on that, just on the payments, plus gas, plus maintenance, because you know it's probably a nice car and it's gonna need some maintenance. Now, I'm the first person to tell you this because I was that one at 20 years old getting the Beamers and things like that. I remember my first 3 Series that I had was I was 20 and I was in the military and stuff, so I had stacked up a little bit of bread. You guys can go check out my video on the military secrets to building your credit and how they've helped me build up my credit. That car was a lot of fun, don't get me wrong. Now you're gonna want to have your fun, especially whenever you're young, so it's not me entirely saying this, but there is a big reason I'm going to get to later into the video as to why you shouldn't be getting these things. Now, of course, you're going to want to, and you're going to probably experience what I experienced once you get it. And let me tell you, it's a lot of fun to go ahead and flex and act like you got it and things like that. Now, my first, like I said, my first one was 3 Series. And then shortly after that, only a couple years later, I upgraded and got an X5. So that tells you right there, I was a huge Beamer fan. I still am, of course, but there's just some things that I'm going to talk about that nobody else really tells you whenever you get these things. Now, I was doing my own maintenance and things for the most part, especially on my 3 Series. Now, the bigger joint, the X5, obviously, I'm not going to be able to do everything on that one, and it was a lot more expensive than the 3 Series. Like a good, it has like a good 20K on top of that, on top of the 3 Series to get to the X5. So therefore, I was not trying to mess up anything specifically. I mean, if I'm being honest, I don't really know everything I'm doing. I'm going off of YouTube videos. So I did a lot of my own maintenance on my 3 Series because let me tell you, the first time I went and got that car maintenance, and I was just a newbie at this, I went to the dealership. Of course, everybody knows who, if you're in the car world, not to go to the dealership unless you specifically need something from them, because they charge you an arm and a leg, and that's exactly what happened. My rear sensor or something was out, which obviously I didn't know at the time, just had to do with the brakes. It comes with the brakes when you buy it together. And so I got the rear brakes replaced, no military discount, and they charged me $800. Now, of course, I had it at the time, but I really didn't have that at the time, because if you look at how you're supposed to really be scheduling out and budgeting out your cars and stuff, they should definitely not be anywhere near what you're making, not even like a quarter or something of what you're making. It's because it's not an asset, it's a liability. At the end of the day, you're just pouring money into something, which for me was a lot of fun, and it was a part of me. But as I got older, I grew to realize that, you know, unless I can truly actually afford that thing, like I'm making some passive income to pay for that. And even then, even if I am making passive income to pay for that, that money can still be going to go make me some more money. And that brings me into today's topic, that 20, 30, 40, 60,000, whatever it is that you're spending on these cars, you just got to know that these are liabilities at the end of the day. They're not assets, unless you're going exotics and you're barely driving them, but you're on a different bracket at that point anyway, so you can do what you want to do at that point. However, the thing I'm trying to get at is you pay all this interest on top of that as well. So you might cash out on a car at 30, 40,000, but then by the end of that, you're paying, you know, an extra 5 to 10K on top of that. So, or it could be less, you know, sometimes the interest rates are a lot lower, of course. But if you're new into this, these are who I'm really talking about. Your first car loan in your interest rate is probably going to be, especially with interest rates right now, it's probably going to be at least around 10% or more, depending on how your credit is, if you're new at this credit stuff. So that's why obviously I built this channel, so that way people can learn about credit and build up their credit, so that way they can get those lower interest rates. But your very first car loan is your interest rate is going to be up there unless you already got some type of credit history going and things like that, because that's a different side. They look at different things when you're getting those car loans. I say all this to say you should be investing in yourself with that money instead of spending it all on a liability. Now, you could probably take out, like, let's say you're spending 40K, spend 15 and maybe an extra 5 on top of that and get 20, and then use that other 20 that you were expecting to pay on your car to invest in yourself. Put it into something that you want to do, whether that's getting, obviously a personal loan is going to have, if you don't have the cash, the personal loan is going to charge you a little bit more interest. But if you know that you're able to leverage that money, or at the end of the day, you are leveraging that money. You're going to be using that money to invest into yourself, so that way you can make more money down the line, so that way you can have more knowledge and know exactly like what you're getting yourself into when you make those mistakes young, versus being young and spending all your money on a car, on a depreciating asset. Even if you do, let's say all that money goes to zero, right? You put 20 into something and you just end up losing everything, or the business doesn't do as good as you thought it was. If you would have put that all into the car, it would have been to zero anyways. I guarantee you, as soon as you drive it off the lot, especially if it's brand new, it's depreciating automatically after you drive it off the lot. Now, if you got a used car, okay, maybe it might not lose as much value so quickly because it's already lost its, top 20% off the top already, or whatever the case it is. With that being a depreciating asset, I mean, what, 5-6 years later, after you've already driven it, you already put so much miles on there, especially like I said, if it's used, that it's going to go to zero anyways, or you're just going to want a new car in general in the next few years anyway. So why not use some of that money to invest into yourself and see if you can get something out of it longevity wise, versus a car that is, you're just gonna have to keep pouring more and more money in. Why not pour more and more money into yourself? And that's what I did about 3 years ago or so, at the end of 2021 going into 2022 and some of 2023. I had been investing into cryptocurrencies. Now right now it's not looking that great, but at the end of the day, I knew what risk I was taking whenever I went into it. I knew that buying a car was going to go to zero eventually because it's depreciating. Why not take a risk and have the chance to be making 5-10 times whatever I put in or more, then go ahead and buy this car and look like I'm got all this money, or I'm rich, or whatever the case is going on, but I'm really not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still making payments on there at the end of the day. I don't own the car at the end of the day. Even whenever I do end up owning the car, it's not going to be worth anything, because like I said, it's a liability and it's depreciating every single year, every single time you're driving it. It's just not a good look at the end of the day. If you really know what, and you really want to take control of your money, you will know that you just don't do that. And that's why you see all these rich people not flaunting all this jewelry, or I shouldn't even say rich, I should say wealthy people not flashing jewelry. And you know what I'm saying, they might have some cars here and there, of course some of them do, but really up there ones, I mean, they don't drive all those types of luxury things. They look like normal people because they know how to use their money correctly. And I guarantee you, their bank statements and their net worth is probably in the positive more than likely, because even if they do have debt, it's probably good debt. It's probably in real estate, or invested into themselves, or whatever the case is, invested into the market, or whatever they decide that they're going to do to make that money back in their business. They know that they're going to get that return on their investment at the end of the day. So regardless of if they're taking out debt, because a lot of people talk about credit and they talk about how, it's just there to take out debt or to keep you a modern day slave and all this stuff, but only if you're using it incorrectly. If you're using it correctly, or at least trying, I mean, at the end of the day, it's your deathbed. Or would you rather had not tried at all and just bought all the stuff you wanted, because that stuff is not going to matter when you're sitting there on your deathbed? Or would you rather look back and be like, yo, I tried everything possible. Like, I put money into myself. I didn't buy all those crazy things that weren't going to matter anyways. When I'm sitting here looking back, I'm glad and I'm proud of myself that I put everything I could into myself to try to make myself as successful as possible. And even if it didn't work out, you tried everything. You know that you did everything, and you didn't spend unnecessary money on things that aren't going to matter in literally a year, because you're going to want something different. That's all I got for you guys today. I'm just here at the dog park. Y'all want to see him? Zen, come here. I'm just at the dog park with him. Just say hi to the cameras. Say hi. His name is Zen, for all y'all that don't know. But yeah, take that into account. Don't buy that dream car or that car in general. Get something like a little $5,000 Toyota or Honda or something. You don't need all that extraness. He just put mad dirt on my jacket. I'm kind of upset about that, but we gonna get it figured out, even if I gotta swipe a card. Just kidding. I'll catch you guys in the next video.